The thing is about 99% of business owners don't even know what this number is, and they don't understand it, and they don't know why it's so impactful in their business. But as soon as they do understand exactly what equity is and what it indicates about their business, it can be like a light bulb moment that really helps them get to grips with managing their business, especially their cash flow. So today I'm going to explain to you what equity is and why it's a crucial number that every business owner needs to be tracking in their business. So equity sits on your balance sheet. So if you're not looking at your balance sheet already, then make sure you start doing this. And it's normally the very bottom section on your balance sheet. Most systems will call it equity, but some might call it shareholders' equity or shareholders' funds, something around that sort of terminology. Now within the equity section, you might have quite a few different things. You might see phrases such as share capital, you might see retained earnings, profits for the year, profits brought forward, all of this sort of terminology. But you just want to pay attention really to the total equity in your business. Now, equity can be a really key indicator of what's actually happening with the cash flow in your business. And more crucially, you want to look at the gap between equity and cash, okay? So what we find with most businesses is that there's actually a rather large gap between equity and cash. Now, equity is your money as a business owner. It's the money that you take out of your business as dividends. So if you've got no equity, you can't take dividends. But what is far more common is that you have a really high equity but a really low cash balance. And that means that there just simply isn't any cash available in your business for you to take dividends. So let me show you exactly what I mean with a real life example. So what's most common with small businesses when they very first start is that their cash comes in from their customer and they pretty much make profit. So you end up with this for all of the profit that you make, which is your equity. The profit is kept in your business. You've got 100k profit, let's say, and you tend to end up with somewhere around 100k cash in your bank. Now, it's not going to be exact, but give or take a bit. So when you're a small business, you tend to see cash and equity going up hand in hand like this. Then you get to the end of the year and you pay yourself a nice dividend. You might pay yourself 50 grand and you pay it out of your bank, so your cash goes down and your equity goes down as well. So your cash and your equity stay aligned when you're a small business. But as you grow and invest in your business, especially when you're investing in assets in your business and you pay for them out of cash and not finance, or you have loans that you have to repay, then what we actually find is that you have all these amounts going out of your cash bank account because you might be buying stock. You might have bought an asset here. You might be making some loan repayments. But all of these have not yet impacted your profit. So your equity stays the same. And this is why these two numbers get out of sync. Now, I've just started working with a business and they have got 1.5 million of equity in their business. So over the past 7 years that they've been trading, they've built up 1.5 million pounds worth of profit in their business that they haven't yet taken as dividends. And the reason that they haven't been able to take that as dividends is because their cash is only 300k. So they've got this massive gap of 1.2 million pounds where they essentially could take dividends out of the business if they had the cash flow to support it. And the reason why you can't do this is because you're not allowed to take dividends if it puts your business at risk of insolvency. It's actually a legal requirement for directors. So it's really, really important that you're closely monitoring that gap between your equity and your cash flow and that you're not allowing that number to get too big. Now, when there is a gap, you then need to have a look at your balance sheet to establish what is the cause of that gap. In most businesses, the three biggest causes of that gap is going to be because you have money tied up in stock, you have money tied up in your debtors where you've given credit terms to your customers and they've not yet paid you. And then the third one is going to be where you bought assets. So either where you've bought assets with cash or where you're repaying loans on assets as well. So for all of the business owners that I work with, when we do monthly management accounts, we have this as a KPI in the finances, is we're constantly looking at that gap between cash and equity to see how we can minimise that gap as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, as business owners, you want to make sure that you're being paid, and most of your earnings are likely to come from dividends, which come out of equity. So you want to be able to keep this gap between cash and equity as small as possible, because not only does that mean as a business owner you get paid, but it also means that there's more cash to reinvest in your business to help it to grow.